What's up, you random people? It's your boy Ed here with another It's Random podcast. And today, it's been a while. Sorry, guys. We had Christmas. I wasn't feeling so good. So, first and most, Merry Christmas to y'all. Hope you had a great Christmas. I still feel a little under the weather, but I'm definitely getting better. It was an amazing Christmas. It's always fun and joyful to see my son. It's my only boy. He's two now, and this is his third Christmas with us, and it just brings so much joy to see him open gifts and be so happy. This boy loves his toys. So right now, let me know in the comments which of y'all have kids and what kind of toys they love. But my boy is into dinosaur and monster trucks. He loves his monster trucks, man. We're just playing for days. Just loves them things, and it was just an amazing experience. So it brings back memories. So when I grew up in a very poor family. So seeing my nieces throughout the years and my son now having Christmas been like this, I'm like, damn, it was different. They had so many gifts, they were blessed. And it's good. I'm not saying that my family, did me wrong or anything like that, but we grew up in a poor family, and I don't blame my parents or nothing of that because we came from different, they came immigrants to the States, so they definitely were behind compared to some like my wife's parents or some my sister-in-laws and all that. It was a different generation. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So definitely my parents started back here with the handicap, couldn't get jobs and or well-paying jobs. They got paid under the table and stuff like that. So yeah, we couldn't have the greatest Christmas, but I really enjoyed, like I do have memories growing up that were really nice. Like I told my wife one day, my parents were very, very poor, and my we were at I believe it was Sears at the time, and they had Power Ranger in there at Sears, and my wife's like, they don't have that. But I'm pretty sure in California where we live, there was a store, Sears, and they had toys in there. And there was a toy section, a red Power Ranger. I love Power Rangers growing up. And I was about 9 when this happened because I moved from California to Texas around I was like 10ish. I was my 10-year birthday. Then we ended up moving over here. But I was about 9. I got this red Power Ranger. They were like scrapped up money, and they bought me a Power Ranger, and it was like that's the one toy I do remember from my childhood. And it's hard. A lot of people say they don't remember the young years, and some people say they do. Well, I don't really remember a lot of my younger years. And let me know in the comments below if y'all have memories of y'all younger times when y'all were kids and stuff like that growing up. But there's a few flashbacks and memories that I do have. Like there's some times where I remember going with my mom and my dad, and we would go sell balloons. They would sell balloons at the park to make extra money to make ends meet. So I remember going to the park and getting pictures in the ducks and all that stuff. I do remember that kind of stuff with my little sister going and selling balloons. And when I say balloons, I know you when y'all go to like events around y'all's cities and stuff like that. They sell those balloons they're like kind of like superheroes and stuff like that. So that's what we my parents want to go do. They'll go to buy them from the factories and they'll blow them up and would go walk in the parks and they'll sell them. So I remember doing that. I do remember some memories like that, but I don't really have a lot of memories from my younger years. Let me know in the comments below if y'all did. But when I got that red Power Ranger, I loved it, man. I enjoyed it, and we made it like one day, and I ended up losing that Power Ranger. Never saw it again. I don't know what happened to it. My parents couldn't give me another one, and it was just a tragedy, tragic day. I do remember losing my Power Ranger. I'm thinking that I lost it on the way out somewhere or on the way in the car because we did have a vehicle at the time, and I don't know, somewhere in between I lost it, maybe the parking lot. I don't know, but I was like, damn, how did I lose that damn Power Ranger? My wife tells me, how did you lose it? I'm like, I don't know, but that was a story, and growing up poor and all that. But it is nice that even throughout my years that I ended up starting up when me and my wife got married. It was a rocky road, rocky trip. I couldn't hold a job. I was a bum, and I just hanged around the wrong crowd. And I ended up after that lifting myself up. And it was a big deep talk that my father-in-law told me. Is like, hey, you gotta be a part of society and you have to plug in, you gotta go work. There's no way around not going to work. And in a podcast I like listened to recently, it is biblical and it's in the Bible that we must work. We have to work and provide for our family. So my father-in-law told me that. Mother-in-law told me that a long time ago, and I had to be part of society, and I gotta lock in and go to work. I took it like that. I'm like, I'm gonna go to work, and I started Bucky's, and I started making money there at Bucky's. Start from Bucky's, and then I'm like, I need more money. I need to get a better job for myself. So I ended up From there, going to Walmart distribution, and then I started working in Walmart distribution. I made good money. The only thing about Walmart distribution is the pay was good. Is the hours were in there. You're only making 36 hours a week, and that wasn't really enough to cut it, you know. So then I ended up um, working. Where else did I get a job at? After that, I couldn't get the hours, so I made more money working at the HEB grocery store. So I got a HEB job at the HEB grocery store, and it was like I always see stuff. Ever since like I've been going like met my wife, and then we lost our children, and then started going to church and being more with Christ and more with Jesus and God and following. Like trust me, guys, the one thing to success, one thing to having a great life and living a great and say you're on the bottom right now and you came across this video and you're struggling with financial or someone you lost someone in your family and you're depressed and despair and you're just going through stuff and you're like the world could not get any worse for me and you're thinking the worst possible things you could do and you're just in a dark place right now and you're in a season. Well, let me tell you something, guys. God is always working for you, whether you feel him or you don't. God is always there, and God is your answer to get out of that position. Like I know now that I what I've been through and all that, that everything I get, every sign I get, every stuff that happens to me in my life, I always thank God because God brought me that. Whether it was a sign, whether it was He put me at the right place at the right time. I do believe God has a purpose for all of us, and I do think that it starts with God. So leave your faith in God. You may have, I mean, a strong, a tough time right now with, like I said, financing. Maybe you lost somebody, and you're having a tough time. But trust me, just leave your faith in God, and God will give you peace. God will give you support. God will give you hope. And what I've been doing lately is I've been trying to pray more. Like I've been practicing prayer because we so what made me want to think about this. Quick story. We were going to my mother-in-law's church and they did a praying out loud and I was kind of like shy, at first I didn't want to do it. And so then I started coming home and I was like, I told my wife, man, I need to start praying. So we started like I started doing a little prayer when we eat and here and there. And I like my wife tells me to pray. I start praying and I want to just start doing better, leave more faith into God and be more of a Christian. That's my first thing. Um, sorry, it's just random. I just like to talk and I get off topic and stuff like that. But like I said, it was a blessing, and to be able to give my son everything, a lot of the like great Christmas, and I know I got off the whole story. I just get lost and I get so passionate about talking about stuff, and then I lose what I was going at, but I end up starting this other, and it gets all over the place. But this is why it's called It's Just Random, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure I drop a like and subscribe if you're this far. But what I was trying to say is just a lot of things like that God just gives you like and we were talking about I was working at HEB store that I remember. So when I was working at HEB store, I was like they wouldn't give me a full-time job at the time. And I wanted a full-time job. I needed benefits for my wife, health insurance for me, health insurance for her because at the time um uh Barack Obama was president. So if you didn't have insurance, you were getting penalized on your taxes. So it was really taking a toll on us. We had to pay because we didn't have health insurance, which that should be my choice whether I have health insurance or not, right? So I was getting screwed over that. So I was trying to really push to get the full time job, and they wouldn't give me a full time job. They wouldn't give me a full time job. So it was one night shift I was working at Delhi because I was a swing man. Wherever they needed a place, someone called in. I've always went and took their job for the day. So they needed someone to slice deli that night, and I met this guy. Name was Joe. Met him first time ever, and I told him, I want to have a kid. I want to have health insurance for my wife, and I want to do all this. And I was letting her know what happened in my life and all that stuff. I did enjoy retail work because I did get to meet people and bond with them. So I met this guy, and he was telling me, and he's like, "Hey, Wilson Arts always hiring. It's a good job. They pay you well. They give you benefits and all that. You should apply and put my name on it as a reference." And I did, and I got a job like literally like a week or 2 weeks after that. And the reason I tell y'all this is because I feel like there's signs of God that He gives you, you take, and it's a blessing. Like I've been in that job now for 6 years, and I made a good living, and I still see that man at work, and I thank him because I've had a good job, and it provided well for my family, and now I'm here 6 years later building wealth, building a great relationship with my family, and my son is gonna have something that I've never had, and he's gonna grow up well, and it's a blessing, And I think it all started with God. God gave me signs. God gave me opportunities. And what I'm trying to say to y'all guys, that if you're watching this far, if you're in the bottom of faith and you're dealing with lost ones, grief, you're dealing with stress, despair, depression, you're struggling with finance and all that, just pray and God will give you a sign. I know a lot of y'all are like, no, that's not. I'm stressing. I ain't got no money for this. I ain't got no money for that. My mom just died. I lost my father. I lost a child, and I know I've been there because I've been when I lost my child, and I've been through that where I I didn't want to hear nothing about God. I didn't want to hear nothing about that. But I went to church for Christmas Eve this evening, and I listened to the song first time ever. My wife didn't believe me. It's called Waymaker, and the song pretty much tells you whether you don't feel God, you don't see God, you God is working for you. God is always working. And that song touched me, and it made me cry, and I felt like damn. So when I was in this like depression, and I had to take medicine because I was depressing my daughter passing away, God was always there. And that's what I'm telling y'all. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You're in a season round. There's only one way up, and God will be there for y'all. He's working, and just have faith. But I appreciate y'all support. Y'all are truly amazing. This is another great podcast with y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. See y'all random people later. Peace.